Good evening. My name is Randy Teal, and this is a book review on Pfeiffer and Sutton's Hard Facts, Dangerous Half-Truths, and Total Nonsense, Profiting from Evidence-Based Management. This book was written by two authors. The first author is Dr. Pfeiffer. He is a professor of organizational behavior at Stanford's Graduate School of Business. He authored or co-authored multiple books and has written several different essays on management topics, and is an award winner for scholarly contributions to management. Dr. Sutton is the professor of management science and engineering at Stanford Engineering School. He has published 8 books, and his most recent book was selected by Harvard Business Review as one of the best 10 books of the year. This book is written for executives and managers and leaders and anyone potential to lead in an organization or business. It's written to challenge the leader to adopt evidence-based management practices and identify half-truths and total nonsense about preconceived notions, common management wisdoms, and flawed practices that are either poor, incomplete, or just outright wrong. They begin by identifying poor decisions made by management and how to recognize them. The first poor decision is casual benchmarking, where organizations tend to perform mindless imitation rather than focusing on what made the successful organization successful. Instead, they should focus on what they think and not what they do. The next poor decision is doing what seems to have worked in the past, where they state not to confuse success that occurred in spite of a policy or action with success that occurred because of a policy or action. And the last poor decision is following deeply held yet unexplained ideologies. If they can't explain them, it's unacceptable. These do the most damage because they're the most difficult to change. Additionally, they state that there are 2 critical components to evidence-based management success: a willingness to put aside beliefs and conventional wisdom and instead focus on facts, and then have an unrelenting commitment to gather the facts and information to make an informed decision. They developed several guidelines for judging business ideas. Treat old ideas like old ideas, and they said that most new ideas are derived from old ideas with a new twist or catchy name. Don't abandon something that's already working. Be suspicious of breakthrough ideas and studies, and they said that the sum of previous works should suggest the next steps, and too often in management there's a high temptation to look for that silver bullet. Emphasize drawbacks, virtues, and uncertainties of research, and what they said was insist on honest exploration, so be willing to discuss those drawbacks and uncertainties as well. The stories use stories to illustrate practice instead of validating evidence, and it's imperative to evaluate the why of success. And then take a neutral, dispassionate approach to ideologies. People routinely ignore evidence that management practices use that clash with their political convictions or personal histories. They also established several questions before organizational change, and some examples include: is the change better than what you're doing now? Meaning, is there benefit in the change? Is the change worth the time, disruption, and cost? Meaning, sometimes the pain is not worth the gain. Are people already overwhelmed with too many changes? And what they mean by that is make sure that you don't continue to have a flavor of the month. And finally, will you be able to pull the plug? You should be able to terminate the process of change at any time. The strengths of this book are very significant. They have a great amount of great ideas, and all on evidence-based management and how to succeed. It's an easy read, and it's written for those without a large background in business development and business management. Additionally, they have some funny insights. For example, they both wrote their own laws, and Sutton's law says if you think you have a new idea, you're wrong. Somebody probably already had it. This idea isn't original either. I stole it from someone. The shortcomings of the book, they're very few because I really liked the book. It was easy read in the beginning, but several of the chapters toward the end became a little more mundane, a little more tedious, and more based in business development. Additionally, this idea was presented for this book presented ideas for resolution, yet most of it seemed to be common sense, and we probably already knew the answer, although they did mention that you really shouldn't be looking for a breakthrough idea or a silver bullet, so it kind of makes sense with this book. Overall, I would highly recommend this book. It's a very good book for any leader implementing evidence-based management. It's a candidly written book challenging leaders and executives to implement evidence-based management into the personal and professional organizational practice while promoting the argument to focus on facts as a basis for decision making rather than conventional wisdom, ideology, or personal assumptions. The reference for this book is this book here. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you so much for your time.